You're entering a no judgment zone. The following show is real and raw, and everyone is encouraged to speak their mind. This is the Immigrant Experience, a program we hope will have an impact on the future of newcomer immigrants and Canada at large. An open platform, one that welcomes everybody. This is the Immigrant Experience. And now your hosts, Emmanuel and Ruben.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Immigrant Experience podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Koko.
And this is Ruben Ashali. Welcome.
Welcome to the Immigrant Experience podcast, people. We appreciate you guys for tuning in every day and staying with us and being part of this amazing, groundbreaking podcast.
Oh yeah, for those listening on Spotify, thank you so much for listening. Please download and share the episode. And for those, of course, following us on YouTube and other video platforms, thank you. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share the episode.
Yeah.
And of course, today's episode, we are very lucky to be joined by an amazing guy. The guest today, he does a bunch of things in the community. He's, of course, an immigrant to Canada. He's a big entrepreneur. And I will leave him to introduce himself.
A video director. Lots of things which you'll be excited to know about.
Wow. My brother, welcome to the Immigrant Experience. And thank you for accepting to talk to us.
Welcome, Amisi. It's a pleasure.
It's very good to be here. I'm very delighted to be here talking to you guys. Anyways, my name is Amisi. I'm an entrepreneur, creative director, filmmaker, and I also do certain projects here and there, such as I'm also I manage artists as well. So that's what I do.
That's very interesting and very exciting. Amisi is a lot of people in one, and he has an amazing bunch of stories, which I think this will be a very interesting and exciting episode you won't want to miss.
Yeah, man. And maybe to start, can you maybe tell us where you're from and but maybe what are you doing now for a living?
I'm from Congo. I came here as an immigrant.
Okay.
It was around 2011. So just got here. No English. Hi, how are you? I'm good. That was it for me.
What language do you speak?
So we speak Swahili and also French. But I was born in Congo, but I grew up mostly in Burundi.
Oh, wow.
Right. So there in Burundi, they also speak Burundi. So I do speak that as well. So we came here in 2011 and, it's always been a great experience. Started high school here as well.
Wow. Which school?
Grade 9, Rideau High School, actually.
Oh, wow.
They closed down. They closed it down now. So
yeah, my office is there, no?
Oh, really?
I'm probably sitting in your classroom.
Well, so I went there, did 4 years. Then after that, I went to university. But back in high school, when I first got here, I really didn't have a lot of knowledge regarding this country.
Oh, yeah.
Right. First, obviously the weather, it was just very uncomfortable and so forth. But there was always the support. So anyways, I started grade 9. I wasn't really a smart kid back home, to be honest with you. My grades were falling down like 30%, right?
Not bad.
I know. So when I got here, it just became apparent that the education that I was getting there, it was extremely tough, the way I was learning it, right?
Yeah.
And then when I got here, it just became easier. It was what they prepared me back home.
For
as soon as I got here, it just became easy. And actually I got way better grades.
Smarter.
Yeah, I got way smarter.
I think that's something that's a very interesting point. Yeah, because I can relate with that. Yeah, very much.
Yeah, so I got way smarter, and my grades were like in the 80s, 90s.
Wow.
So from there, I took a bunch of science courses.
Yeah.
And I really fell in love with science. Like very fell. So grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, ended up finishing school with scholarship for my high grades. I ended up with like an average of like 89%.
Okay.
So,
wow. The entrance scholarship to university, right?
Yeah, and that was from science courses.
Yeah. Wow.
So with that, I also got a bunch of other scholarships outside my mark.
Yeah.
So I went to university. Pretty much my first 2 years of university were kind of paid off.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
through scholarship.
Yeah, through scholarship.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm very grateful. So with that, I went to Ottawa University. Then I took a biochemistry program.
Wow!
I wanted to be a doctor. When you come from Africa.
Oh yeah, doctor or engineer.
Doctor, engineer, or lawyer.
They already have a box, and they have certain job titles that they associate you with, and if you don't fall in that category, you're failed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So from there, did maybe 2-3 years. So in the third year, I kind of I took a step back as to really as I was going to do the labs work and collaborating with my classmates, I just felt like maybe that was not my calling.
Yeah.
It was just, then I said, you know what, let me just take a time, like 1 year off school and see what happens.
Yeah.
And from there, I took a time off school. Then somehow I fell in love with actually one of my friends is an artist, so he went to do a video, a music video. And then from there, I saw the director how he's he was like the coolest person on set. So it's like, okay, I want you to do this. And I was like, man, this is really cool. I want to do this. So
and that's how you drop your dream of being a.
So I was like, maybe let me try this out. At the time, I was working at McDonald's, so I saved enough, $350 to go buy a camera on Kijiji. Actually,
what was your first camera?
It was actually a Canon T3i.
Oh,
it had a microphone with it.
Oh,
so from there, I started, taking any work I could find.
Yeah,
music video for all artists, rappers, R&B artists, everything. So and I invested a lot of amount of time on YouTube learning about the filmmaking techniques and so forth, just to find my own path. So from there, just try and error, and I started getting, clients paying me a little bit, $200 here, $300 here. So from there, I even started working harder. Like I took a second job, right?
Yeah.
So I was working at McDonald's, and then I got another job. McDonald's during night, and during the day I would go for another job.
Yeah.
And with that, I saved up enough money to buy even a more suitable camera equipment. So
many people don't know this, but usually when you start, you have to go through lots of challenges and lots of barriers, lots of stumbling blocks. And it will not just normally start from you start video directing and bam, it kicks off. You have to probably still work a second job for the start.
Exactly.
And then over time. So doing this, what was like a big challenge for you starting this music directing? What was like your biggest challenge you encountered?
The big challenge was that like there is no sort of like recipe. There might be a generalized recipe, but it might not work for you.
Yeah.
So I have to find my own way, my own path through this. So that comes through taking any work I could find. To be able to have enough portfolio to go out there and say, hey, this is what I've done.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm charging maybe a certain amount of money, this is why I think you should give. You should.
What your worth,
right.
And how do you assess that worth? What was your criteria?
So the worth now is not even based off like the kind of camera equipment that I'm using.
Yeah,
it's really based off where did I come from and how did I get here. Right. So what kind of knowledge am I bringing to the table?
Yeah.
And what value am I also providing for you? Because, for example, when it comes to like videography, we nowadays with the rise of new technology, like you have an iPhone, you could literally go out there and start filming, and have a really good looking footage. But then where I come in is anyone can be a videographer, but not everyone can provide a solution to videography. So if for example, you're a business or you're an artist, right, you need someone to first understand what is it that you want, why that you want this, what do you want people to feel when they see it. So I'm really in the business of videography, thus providing solutions to problems that businesses or brands or artists are facing.
And maybe when you're studying, how like do you remember maybe your highest pay at that time? Like
for me?
With your Canon 3D. The big pay.
You mean when my work?
One of the projects someone paid a little bit higher than the other ones.
Well, I have a certain price that I can go below.
Okay.
Regardless of whether the project is 3 seconds or 5 seconds. So usually the people that pay the most is like brands, right? Because brands, and you spend less time actually. Right. And that's what I'm trying to say is like when you get to a level where you understand your worth. And for example, these brands, like they also understand their worth. And when you price them, they're not gonna tell you, we think this, because they know what you're bringing to the table. So
it depends.
I mean, I'm there. I'm there.
It's amazing.
And it's very, very difficult. It's really, really, really difficult because even when I was working the 2 jobs, I even had to, it was contradicting with my other side, right? So after that, I was like, you know what? I'll take a deep faith and quit all these jobs.
That was what I was going to ask you.
Right.
At what point did you realize that this is it? This is what I am doing with my life? Because that's something which always scares people. They are a bit nervous if what they're doing or being independent, they're going to have that discipline and that determination to keep working and keep on the grind. At what point did you feel like, oh, this is it, I'm not going back?
So I mean, I like to read a lot, especially self-help books or business books. So I read this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So
that's a good book.
That book really completely kind of changed my perspective on how we think about life or why we do certain things. So it was only after reading that book that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop all this job that I'm doing. I'm gonna focus solely on creating a video production company. Right. So it's been now what, 4 years? 4 years, since I stopped.
That's amazing. And maybe to take you back, have you ever gone like to college to take video production course or any online video production course?
No, I didn't.
What?
I did, however, took some online course, Gonquin. 2 years. It was a business management and entrepreneurship program. Which kind of set me up for the business success, to understand how marketing works, how can I market myself as a business, handle my finances, how to pay my taxes and so forth. After that, then I was like, now I was set with everything pretty much, because I understood like, okay, this is my business plan. This is what I want to get to, right? So if I want to get, I already have a body of work. If I want to get financing for my business, I can go ahead and do so, and this is what they require, right?
Oh, that's amazing. How was the news to your parents, man? I'm quitting medicine. I'm going full into music.
My parents, they were kind of very supportive.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You know, which is what I'm grateful for. Well, although my dad wanted to be a doctor, wanted me to be a doctor. So I guess that's a kind of a disappointment. It's only gonna remain a disappointment if I come home with maybe $1 million and say, hey, Dad. Then I'm proud of you, son.
Yeah.
That's probably the day. So until we get there.
For sure.
Yeah, and one thing for sure, like immigrant parents, it's either you have that big portfolio or not.
Yeah,
exactly.
And do you have maybe sisters and brothers, and what are they doing?
Yeah, I do have a lot of sisters actually. I have a little brother as well.
Oh,
yeah. So they're all going to school.
Is your family all here with you?
Yeah. I'm very very. My dad really. He managed to get out, so he came here alone.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, like years back, and he managed to get all of us here, like 11 of us.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing, man.
I know.
Yeah, that's something.
That's amazing.
Something you guys may not know.
Yeah.
I have a music project coming up, my EP, and my first debut video was actually shot by Amiss. So, Buyaka. So that would be very interesting. And I got to work with him, got to experience his personality and all that, which was very chill and calm and nice. And I saw your work online. Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask this. What have you encountered any barriers as like gender or race barriers while engaging in this side of your work, or cultural barriers?
Not really, not necessarily, but and that's the other thing is that I'm trying to also kind of diversify myself in terms of like, you know, I don't just want to serve like the Black community. I want to serve everyone.
Yeah.
And as a business, I feel like you have to think like that. So not necessarily.
Yeah. And maybe my question on that part will be, like music, it's a very competitive market.
Yeah.
And on the worst part, like Ottawa is I feel like Ottawa is very calm. Like there's no music activity and it's not busy.
It's not boom.
Right. How is the industry, man?
Yeah, you're right. The industry is very slow. So the thing is, I like to, and that's the thing, because for me to because if you go, for example, Toronto, there is a lot of competition.
Yeah.
So why not stay here, make my name, build my name?
Yeah.
So my thought is, I want to build my name right here.
Yeah.
To a point where it's like, if you mention, hey, do you know any video production company? Then you just think of us.
Yeah.
And with that, you know, as my name is as the name is branching out, people in Toronto will hear, people in Montreal will hear and say, hey, we would like you to come. We saw your work. Come in.
Yeah.
And then that's how, if I want to transition, that's the easiest way for me to transition, to go say, oh, now I'm based in Toronto or I'm based in Montreal. Yeah. But to go there and say, I want to start from scratch from there, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes a lot of sense.
And maybe like within the same community you're living, we are all living here.
Yeah.
Those kids who are into music, but sometimes they don't have perhaps enough money to record. So they have a bunch of audios on social media, but no a single video out there. Like, have you maybe thought of supporting these young talents and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I do from time to time. But, you know, I think as a business, you also have certain responsibility.
Yeah.
So you have some people who also have to, you know, payroll, and it becomes very difficult to work with an artist who's, you know, paying less than what it's not even enough to pay you and your team.
Yeah.
Right? So I like to have just do collaborations, free project on my personal time, so to say, like, I don't have to involve the team. I can just do it my own, me and you, and we do it. So it's very difficult. It's very difficult. And when it comes to video production, these things can take a lot of, you know, resources, a lot of work. To get going.
And maybe if for example, I I pretty much work in the community development and things like that. And if the project, let's say, to pretty much empower this youth, let's mobilize some money so that, of course, we respect your time. You can subsidize maybe your time. Then to those sort of projects, that's when like you're free to come, right? So that maybe a little bit cost of production is paid, then you're willing to like support some other people.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, I do have things that I want to do as well, and I understand that sometimes people don't have the funds, and sometimes like I know, like for example, it could be even an artist. It could send me a song that's really, 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 really great, and I'd be like, man, I'm so inspired. I could even reach out to. Sometimes I even reach out to an artist and say, hey. And I really like this song. I like to film it, to direct it for you.
Wow.
So it's case by case.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to still feed the family.
Yeah. How many video, if you can count them? How many videos have you produced in the city?
Right now, I think I'm at least 100.
Wow.
Yeah, probably 100. Yeah. But the thing is, and that's the whole point of and that's what made me actually kind of get to where I am right now.
Yeah,
was because I understood the branding. I only put out what I want you to see. So if I know, if for example there is a certain work that I'm doing, and I know that work maybe is probably a lot of money, but it's something that I feel like does not fit well with my brand. Yeah, I'll still do it, but I won't probably put my name
on top of it.
On it. Yeah. But I would just perform the service.
Yeah.
And I won't say, oh, this like post it on my social
platforms. Yeah.
So I only put things that I feel like I love and represent my brand. Yeah. Right. So and through that I've managed to really get, a proper client. Yeah. I'm willing to spend what I'm probably asking for.
Yeah, wow. Within that range of clientele you said you've done like probably 100 videos. What are the data of like the like how do they call this, the diagram of the clientele yourself? Like in case if you look at like let's say racially, or how would you say,
or demographic?
Demographic.
Black and
what
racialized.
Age are you serving? Yeah, the most within this.
I would say maybe 65% Black community.
Oh. Okay.
And then the other percentage is more like other demographic.
Okay. Yeah.
But again, sometimes it like sometimes I feel like it's hard to be in control
of that.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, you can control who's gonna see your work, right?
Yeah. You can't control who approaches you.
Exactly. Yeah, so you just have to serve.
Yeah, and the other thing, whatever you're doing, like filming and stuff, like it doesn't, like it's very limited to who approaches you, right?
Yeah.
You cannot determine the address, like I'm going to work this guy and this guy and this guy. Yeah. Not unless you see one or two people that you're like, exactly. I want to work with these people. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
And now it's more than 4 years you're doing this?
Now it's probably 5 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And you're doing this full time.
Yeah. it's hard to be a self-employed business owner.
Yeah.
But it also comes with the fruits.
Yeah. Good question. What motivates you and what keeps you going? Because sometimes it could be very difficult navigating things and you could go through a crisis. What motivates you like in keeping going with your business?
I think it's the passion. Right. So I always told myself that no matter what happens, just keep going. So, I really, really love. I think I find my joy through filmmaking, directing, editing.
Yeah.
Right. It's really the passion that keeps me going, and I'm always inspired like by my parents, my mother.
Yeah.
Who raised us like. She was always just a hustler, I would say.
Yeah,
she's always, because she's also a business woman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she was always just, inspiring us to do more, to do better.
That's really amazing. That's very, very good. So, you're not only a video director, but you're also a creative content. You're also an artist manager, and all that. Tell us a little bit more about that. Which assets you manage?
Right. So before the management thing, I will also say with the content directing. That's why I feel like if you have something that you want to do, you have a dream, really take the time to go and pursue it, because you never know what's coming at the end of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, I believe in that so much that when I first got started within the business, the video production business, I connected with a lot of people, and through that, and the fact that I also have a business background, I managed to get in touch with with people who are involved in they're creating a startup. And it's a startup. It's a technology based startup. So I was approached, and we started working together, and then by miracles I became part of the startup because of my work, right? And with that, we're doing some really, really amazing things for creators, for artists, for comedians, any person who creates. So we're trying to really essentially, it's a live streaming platform where creators can live stream their content for a certain amount of money. So let's say, for example, Douala, you're an artist, and you go do a show in South Africa, right? And I want to, and you get the ability to live stream this content, then through our platform, where you could do, and if I want to join in, I can pay a certain amount of money to see, I can support you. I can also, with that, I can, through the platform itself, you can have some sort of what do you call it? The merchandise. I can order your merchandise through the platform itself. So we enabling artists to have the ability to sell merchandise, sell their content, sell their, even implementing NFTs into the platform and Bitcoin into it. So it's a very, very it's an experience, right? So we're trying to revolutionize the live streaming experience. So with that, we partnering up with few brands and so forth. So
how's the platform called?
It's called Serieo.
Okay.
Serieo, yeah.
Wow.
And soon enough, it's gonna get there. There.
Yeah.
With the platform, we're still, we're in a beta phase right now. We have the app already in the first version of the app is on Android and also Apple Store. And we're working on the website as well. So we're doing everything we can to make it better and make it a great experience. So with that, I also do I love music. Right? So and thank God that I went to school for the business management and entrepreneurship, and I got to understand, I find something about myself that I'm good at. I'm good at seeing something and determining as to how can we leverage. It could be a talent, it could be a product. How can we get it to the market? I'm very good at that. So I was filming, and I had one of the guys, I put out a poster and say, hey, whoever that wants to come be part of this project, come through. So they came, and one of the guy happened to be Joe Gay, and I happened to also know we talked, and then he played me some of his songs, and then the next day, once I heard the songs, I immediately called him. So he didn't play the songs at the time, he just sent them to me. So I called him and yo, listen, I would like for us to work together. And because and that's the thing, because at the time he didn't have a brand image, and he was only singing in English, in French.
Okay.
Right? So with that, and it wasn't singing Afrobeats at all.
Yeah.
So with that, we sat down and we said, okay, how can we now
build a brand?
So we scrapped everything that he had, right? All the photos, all the music that he had before.
Yeah.
And then I told him, listen, okay, for this to work, you could, and thank God he knows how to produce for himself and make beats for himself.
Wow.
For this to work, you have to go in I'm gonna give you maybe like a month to record for me, like say 20 songs.
Yeah.
Afrobeat song. And after that, then we can now start releasing one by one.
Yeah.
And build from there. So from there we it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
We it's one step at a time, and I helped out in the creation of his overall digital image.
Wow.
His music videos, photos, and so forth. So I went out of my way to use my company to enhance his image.
Yeah.
And it's through that. So most artists don't understand that people judge you based on what you put out.
Yeah.
So if you go put out a mediocre music video, that's what they're gonna think of you as a mediocre wannabe artist.
Yeah.
So especially when you're starting out. Right? Now, if you take the time and I always say, like, you could have one music videos or two music videos in a year.
Yeah.
That's so clean. And that could raise your value so much higher than having 10 videos that just shot randomly and there's no proper concept or no creativity in it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he understood that. So we went to work, and then from there, we got the interest of very important people from like Toronto.
Wow.
Right. And by marketing the videos or the music properly, we managed to even have like Drake's people hear the music.
Wow.
Right? So
yeah, and are you guys looking for another artist? I have an artist here.
Well, I was about to ask that question. I was about to ask what criteria do you use to get? What criteria would you use? Like, let's say a young youth who is very talented in the music industry is watching you right now and it's like, oh wow, I want to work with this guy.
We have another one.
Yeah.
Right here.
What criteria would you use to qualify them?
You mean in terms of management?
Yeah, in terms of management and all that.
So the reason why I wanted to go like to work with Joe Gaze was because at least manage him, was because one, he knows how to record, right?
Yeah.
He knows how to produce his own beats.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be sitting around for like 2 months to get one record.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if he wants to make a record today, he can make it. If he wants to make record tomorrow, he can make it. And I'm able to also say, hey, listen, I feel like this part right here, you should probably change it. It's probably offensive.
Yeah.
You can do that on the spot.
Yeah.
Right. So it's much. So you have to be kind of self-taught and be able to listen, and just go with the flow. Because, and I understand some artists have money constraints.
Yeah.
Because you could be an artist and if you're doing a song, you're paying a producer like $50 an hour. You're spending maybe 5 hours at the studio to make the beats and record, and then you gotta have it sent to be mastered and mixed. Right? That's a lot of money that you're spending. So if you really have the at least the passion for music, you should also invest enough time to get you started on how to record for yourself, how to make beats for yourself, to a point where like you don't have to do it
professionally.
Exactly, and you don't have to do it for the whole entirety of your career. Kanye West, right now Kanye West doesn't sit down and make the beats. He got to a point where like those beats making and such got him to a point where he was comfortable enough to say, hey, all right, cool, now I want to do other things.
Yeah.
So if Kanye West walks into a studio, he has his own engineers. He knows exactly how the melody he needs to go.
Yeah.
He just says, hey, you need to do this.
Put like this.
Yeah. So you just need to get yourself to that point.
Yeah.
Right.
And to artists that produce their own music, they're always like be like good artists.
Exactly. So you have to get yourself to that point. It's not until then you can actually now make it easier for yourself.
Wow. And maybe a message to youth that either at school now or they we met a lot of kids who are like, they love shooting videos or singing. But again, they don't have that instinct of leaving whatever they're going to school for. Whether they're a social worker or they don't want to like leave that, whatever they're doing. They're like, what if this one goes south then?
Right. I think, a part of it is it can be conscious, and you just, say, no, I'm going to go out and actually do it. It's just, the other thing is you can create an awareness. Right, like for example, through the programs you guys are doing, like a program where kids with an idea, they can help them out to get to where they want to get. So it's all about it's tough.
Difficult. And maybe being a devil advocate here, there've been a lot of gang related crimes to young kids in music, which has pretty much give a negative connotation to music. Like people view music as a gang business or drug dealing and things like that. What's your view on this?
For me, like I'm never with the violence or the gang and such, and that's why even I guess most of my work that I do, I don't associate myself with that. So if you're, for example, an artist that you're really about that life, I'd rather just that way, because I've had the experiences. Like I didn't get here overnight. I had experience with such
lifestyle,
right? And it was to a point where I was like, it was either like I'm not gonna allow someone to make what I love worse. Right. So instead of that, I'm just gonna take the other route. Right. So it's my passion. So now it's sad to see where the music industry, especially hip hop and rap, where it's going as far as the violence. But what can you do? It's and we're just gonna be violence.
And what of those saying music producers and of course artists are using our young girls, like either using nudity in the videos and
so if you take a look at my work, like I pretty much like plus I also like it's based, what I do is based off my culture, my norm. Like I don't, like, can you imagine? Because mind you, like my little brother, my little sister, they actually go on YouTube to look at my work. And they call me like Kakabai, like I saw your video, this and that. So imagine they go and they see, and I put like directed by. Right? All of that, it doesn't sit well with my norm. So I choose to do what I feel like goes with my norm and what I believe in.
Wow. And those youth who are either stuck, like the kids who are within that violence or within that environment, not because they like being there, it's because people situations brought them there, like found them there. Either with friends who are artists, then poop, then the gang. What would advise this youth, man?
I think sometimes it just like even for me, for example, in high school, like I have friends, I was around people that were really about, doing that kind of stuff. But I guess it was more from just seeing the effect it can have if you go the other way. Right. So and mind you, like my parents were always very, very supportive. They would talk to me, hey, listen, what you're doing, this and that, it's not good. Go this way. So I would say for the kids, like, to listen, and understand that every action has a reaction. Right. So if you decide to go this way, there's gonna have to be consequences. And if you decide to go the other way, there also have to be consequences. And I feel like this is also influenced by people, because if you surround yourself with friends if you surround yourself with friends all the time that about that life, it's gonna, the likelihood of you ending up like them is very high. Right.
Emmanuel taught me one saying that show me your friends and I
tell you who you are. It's actually reality, because most times we underrate how much the company we keep determine where we find ourselves in life. Usually, if you actually have a good network, and like what you said before, you were able to get into the association of the CEO thing you guys started because of the network you had. So the network you actually create can determine where you find yourself in 3, 4, 5 years. So, like for example, we are having this podcast happening because we were able to network together and had shared common values as well in certain things we found as a priority to the community. So I always find networking very, very important and very useful.
And to young kids, like the people, even friends, like the friends, you just mute them, man. It reaches a point you're like, I'm not getting any value from this guy.
Yeah, for sure. Because some people they literally just drain you. And they are they say misery loves company. So some people are like literally like going through misery with their lives, like not creative, not productive, not enhancing themselves in any way. And they find it very uncomfortable seeing someone else with their age and all that doing something productive and all that. So usually they will drag you down to hang with us. If we're doing drugs, come and share with us. If we're doing this, come and, because that way then they feel comfortable that, oh, we're all the same level now.
We're on this together.
No one is special. You're not going to make us look bad. So that's what it comes down to in the most part. So it's always important to watch the people you hang around with. That's what I found out.
It's difficult to. But the other thing is, parents can also play a part. And most parents do their best. It's just sometimes, again, it's through maybe things you watch through your friends that can influence you to go the other way.
But again, like the system here, the Canadian system, like how parents are expected to raise the kids, pretty much different from one culture, right? Like we discipline our kids by spanking their asses. But here, like that's pretty much child abuse. They cannot do that. So pretty much even I'm particularly looking at the immigrant parent who are like having teenagers who are pretty much in between in culture conflict, trying to like live within the culture at home, but trying to fit within the group of friends. And sometimes bringing those hardships for parents.
I feel like as a parent, obviously, you should never hit your child, but there's different ways to educate your children, and I find that most people, especially like
our parents,
most parents, pretty much, we don't lead by examples. We just because it's so much easier if I say don't do this, and if I show you, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. Right. So we just expect we expect if we say, hey, don't do this, that's what you have to do. So we don't like to lead by examples. And I think that's one of the biggest I guess
trauma. These things come on, they actually bring trauma in the future. So sometimes all this, your childhood trauma and some of the things you experience, all this beating or abuse which you experience from an early age, come back to you tend to cope with something like using some drug to try and cope with this. And
I think
so they have consequences.
Amiss touched a very good point, like parenting style, right? Like that one is called, I think in psychology they call it authoritative parenting, where parents only tell you, stop, don't do this. But this other type of parenting that I've just forgot, and it's it just evaporated out of my head. But it's like it involves parenting now discussing choices with kids. Don't do this because of ABC. But what do you think is the only alternative? Then we get to discuss with the kid what the alternative is, and
they get to understand you. You find that like a kid that has you raise a child, but you really don't know much about each other. You don't know what they like. You don't know exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we can create that space where we're able to communicate with our child without judgment, right, I think that's gonna create a much more better society in terms of like, just for people not going out there and, like getting involved into drugs and so forth.
Right?
Wow.
Very interesting.
It is a very, very, it's a very fine conversation talking to this guy.
It's different things that are playing, like it's different dots that all connect for the sole purpose of such and so and so. Right. So
yeah, man.
Everybody gotta play parts.
Yeah.
Everyone has to play their part.
I'll say that sometimes, you would be led to do certain things because of certain barriers. But if you look at it, what would you say are the main barriers creatives in this city face in realizing this creativity from all your years of experience?
I would say the main barrier is just most people, they're not willing to get out there and do the thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Or there is that, and also
3 points. I love that. I feel like you have so much to talk about that.
And then also they expect things to happen for them.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like if you wanna do something for yourself, you should ask, hey, listen, I'm up and coming, whatever, creative, and I want to work with you. What do you think? And you go ahead and do it. Like the more you do that, the more connection you make, the better you get at what you do. And the more people see your work, and then from there, history is made.
But again, it needs you to start doing it.
Yeah, you have to start doing it. Sometimes you feel like, you have to know the things, right? It's like if say I have always wanted to become like a UI UX designer, right? And it can be very overwhelming to say, I'm gonna start doing it before you actually learn the thing itself. Right. Wow. So just be willing to learn. Pretty much be willing to learn.
And for kids that maybe like for kids who are new into the music industry, even music video production, they might not be like good at negotiating with brands, for example. How good are you, and what's like a general advice to even at negotiating a good deal, man?
No, I think it all comes down to experience. I don't think you can just get better at it just like that. You have to go through the hardship as to knowing, like you have to go through those heartbreaks and so forth to be able to try. Know, okay, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better for me? And it's only after that you can actually start improving. And it's very simple. Just let your work speak for yourself. If you focus on improving your work, I guarantee you're gonna have enough clients to come for you.
People will be looking for
you. Right? Because and that's the thing and that's what really I focus on when brands come, or if I have an artist coming, I'm not really looking at the money. I'm not saying, I want to make this much. No, I have passion for this. I'm just looking to, like, I come from perspective of I want to help you. How can we get there? Right? And through you seeing my involvement in my passion, that if I say, okay, this is what I'm going to charge, like, it's going to be very difficult for you to say, this is too much or this and that. Compared to someone say, hey, how much do you charge? And then, okay, we charge this much, and you can now compare it. But if I come say, don't worry about the price for now. Let's figure this out. How can we get there?
Caring of the value.
Exactly. And once you get the client involved, then to see, now they see how much you actually care. Right. And, people will pay. And sometimes you have, people don't know what they want until you show them. So you, through your involvement, you have to show them, hey, this is what's better for you. And through that, they can now be able to charge like that. Coming back to that, it's providing solution for them.
That's very interesting. I would like to know, so when you do this work, how would you consider the rate you charge at? Like, what's your charging rate? like when you work professionally?
I can't say the number, because that number is it's changing constant, and like, for example, and that's the thing I try to say is like, for those creative out there who goes and put on the website or whatever on the social platform and say this is how much they charge.
Yeah.
All right. Let's say, for example, your work is really, really, really good, and then you say this is how much they charge, right? And Jay-Z somehow wants to. He sees your work, and then his team says, "You know what? We want to work with you."
Yeah.
You think they're gonna pay you how much
based
of what you just come up with, or they're gonna pay you based of what you've shown on your website or your platform?
What you have on your website?
Exactly.
Then you lose a lot of money.
Exactly.
So you would say a job would be determined mainly by the client and the job description.
Right.
That's how much the price will be for it.
By talking with them and providing that solution, you sit down and understand, okay, because I don't have a specific price I can tell you, well, this is how much I charge.
Yeah.
It's gonna be based on the complexity of the shoot.
Yeah.
It's gonna be based on how many days is he gonna take.
Yeah.
Are we gonna need
resources,
dancers? Are we gonna need to get a place? Are we gonna need to
book a venue?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we did most of these things when we were trying to when we're doing my video for Buyaka, and I realized how much the price fluctuated depending on what activity we added or removed during the video shoot. So that was very interesting to learn about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's from there where you can now determine, okay, this is my rate, like as a director, and this is how much these other things are gonna cost, and this is the budget, right? And then you work with that. You know, I wanna again as a creator, I don't wanna just stay in one lane. I wanna get to a point where, like, you know, and by God's grace, we're making say like 50K or 60K or 100K project, right?
Yeah.
But it takes time and energy.
Yeah. But for sure, what I'm getting out of your conversation, for sure, when you're starting, there'll be those times when you look back and like, whoo. like looking where you came from, and like it's a work in progress every day.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to say was like sometimes for creators you have to be able to like don't be desperate.
Yeah.
You know, because I give this example as to like I can do, say for example, you charge say like $500 a project, and you know you say, you know what, I would take any work that comes my way, right? You do, for example, 10 projects in 1 month. You charge $500 per project. So you're doing what? 10 projects. You're making $5,000 that month. For 10 projects. That's a lot of editing time for 10 projects. And that's a lot of. It limits you from being creative, from bringing in, you know, proper concept for your project, and it makes all your editing kind of the same. Right. Now, compared to someone like me who like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna do 2 projects in 1 month, and maybe I'm gonna charge, for example, say $2,500 per project. So I'll be doing $2,500 per project, just 2 projects in 1 month, and I have enough time to really
work on the concept,
build my set, involve cinematography into my craft. Right. So there, you're gonna get to a point where like those 10 people was like, man, I can't do this.
Burn out.
And the funny thing is, you're gonna say, I need to be charging more. Right. And you're gonna start charging more of those clients and say, you know, like we've been paying this much money for 1 month, for 1 year. Like why should we pay you more? Plus you're doing the same thing every day, so I don't see why I should be paying you more.
Right. Okay, so what are 3 advice you can give to creators to take back with them? Something that you think would sound right for them to keep in mind when working.
So I would say first, be passionate about what you're doing. Second, know that it's gonna be okay no matter what. So just believe in what you're doing and keep pursuing what you're doing. Third, and is just try and error.
So don't be afraid to fail.
Don't be afraid to fail. In fact, love failing.
That's amazing, man. And for those, of course, for those watching and you're into music industry, kudos what you're doing, and that's what we're discussing this week, right?
Yeah.
In the music industry, and of course for those watching this episode on YouTube, thank you so much, and please subscribe, comment, like, and share.
Yeah.
And for those listening on Spotify, please remember to download and save this episode.
Yes. Well, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, please go ahead, subscribe, share, and share the word with more people so people can learn from these immigrant experiences and can change something about their life. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the Immigrant Experience, a program we hope will have an impact on the future of newcomer immigrants and Canada at large. We hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, hook up with us on Instagram at Anyo_2021. #The Immigrant Experience. See you guys next time.